For decades, Americans believed that the worst injustices of segregation happened quietly, in the shadows of society. But there was a moment in U.S. history when discrimination was not hidden at all. It was enforced openly, publicly, and with the full power of the state. This story begins during World War II, at a time when the United States was fighting for freedom overseas, while denying it to many of its own citizens at home. When the war ended, millions of soldiers returned home. Among them were black veterans who had fought bravely in uniform, believing that their service might finally earn them equal treatment. But what awaited them was not gratitude. It was exclusion. In 1944, the U.S. government passed one of the most important laws in American history. It was designed to reward returning soldiers with education, housing loans, and financial support. It became known as the GI Bill. On paper, it applied to all veterans equally. In reality, it did not. Local authorities were given control over how benefits were distributed. And in many states, especially in the South, those authorities were openly segregationist. Black veterans were denied home loans, denied access to universities, denied opportunities that white veterans received automatically. Why? Entire neighborhoods were built with GI Bill loan. Why? Black families were often barred from buying homes in THM. This decision quietly shaped the American middle class for gene ratio. NS. While white families built wealth through home ownership, many black families were locked out, forced into renting, or pushed into underfunded R, as the gap widened. Ed. Not because of lack of effort, but because of policy. Education followed the same path. Turn. Many colleges refused to admit black veter. ANS. Others imposed strict limits. Historically, black colleges were overwhelmed and underfunded, unable to accommodate the demand. A promise made by the federal government was broken at the local level, again and again. But housing and education were only part of the S. Tory. Across the country, segregation laws were enforced with brutality. Public B. Uses. Restyle. Rants. Hoes. Titles. Even SEM. Eateries. Violence was often used to maintain this system, and law enforcement frequently looked the OT. Her way. 4 black veterans. This betrayal cut a special. LY deep. They had worn the uniform. They had risked their lives. Yet they returned to a country that treated them as second-class citizens. Some spoke out. Many were silenced. Others organized quietly, planting the seeds of what would later become the civil rights movement. By the 1950s and 1960s, pressure could no longer be ignored. Prots. TS spread. Court cases challenged segregation. The world was watching. America faced a painful contradiction. How could it claim to lead the free world while denying freedom? M at home. Change did come, but slowly, and at G. Recost. Laws were passed to end legal segregation. Voting rights were expanded. Discrimination was outlawed on paper, but the damage had already been done. Generational wealth loss cannot be easily recovered. Opportunities denied cannot be retroactive. Belly given. The effects of those post-war decisions are still visible today in housing patterns, education gaps, and economic inequality. This history is UNC, uncomfortable, but it's essential not to sign guilt, but to understand cause, because inequality does not appear by accident. It is built over time, stage, rough choices, and the most powerful lessons in history